I think the whole season. I mean, you're not going to be able to go run chores in the fourth quarter because it's going to be like, I don't know if we're going to win or not. You flip a coin, you might win, you might not win. Okay, what was the score of the Tennessee Titans game? What was that?
Let me see.
What was
15-16.
Okay. 15-16.
I thought you meant like today's game.
No. Okay, but I'm comparing that.
I got you.
See how you feel about yourself? Okay, a win's a win. We won 16-15, now we lose 18-17. All I know is you give up 20 points or less, we shouldn't lose a damn game. I know we had a 17-point lead with 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter, but I would say, hey, give me 20 points or less, and if the Saints don't win, shame on the offense. I know it's a team sport, but who's in charge? Pete Carmichael, Derek Carr, Jameis Winston, Dennis Allen being the head coach. No, you give up 18 points, you should not lose the game. Now, no Blake Groupie. It wasn't like, oh, you got to make a monumental kick. It wasn't like Missouri with that big fat kicker from Missouri. You remember when he kicked the 60-yarder, 61-yarder? It's not like a Groupie had to do a miracle. It was a 45-yard field goal. I said, you the hero of the GOAT. You make that kick, and all of a sudden you're perfect on the season, and you miss it, and you fall short. I mean, now it's 11 straight games the Saints defense has given up 20 points or less. Like I say, you should win. When you look at it, I don't know, for some reason, Steve, I don't know, and it's not dealing with inclement weather. It's not the frozen tundra. We played Green Bay now 7 times in the month of September. I can recall a game, I want to say it was 1989. We were winning 24-7 at half, and we freaking lost. I mean, I want to say it was like 30-something to 30-something, but we still lost. I was feeling good about myself. I always dreamed of playing at Lambeau Field, and you think you're going to come out on top. But somehow the Packers and the fans were not part of the game until at the end when they started getting some type of momentum. But, we've now played Green Bay 14 times, not always at Lambeau Field, but at Milwaukee County Stadium where the Brewers, used to play. So I'm just talking about in Green Bay or in Wisconsin. We're now, we won 3 out of 14 on the road. We played them 28 times. We've won 10 and lost 18. So I don't think you can talk crap to a Packers fan because overall they've had the upper hand overall against us.
It doesn't even matter if it's frozen tundra or not.
No, I'm telling you, it's a very disappointing loss considering how we thought the game was well in hand and how we thought it was well in hand. You know why I said this at halftime? You should never, ever lose a game because it's so hard to win. If you get any kind of advantage, you got a pick six, you get a scoop and score, you get a kickoff return, punt return for a touchdown. No, you have to win those games. And the majority of times, that's the difference to help you win. That's why, Steve, we're going to win this game. Simply by Rashid Shaheed. I kind of viewed this kind of what occurred with Deontay Hardy or was that the Seahawks game? How hard it is to win in Seattle.
Right.
But that was not the case. We could not close it out. Now, with that being said, how you sustain drives? And you think like, well, we were in control of the game. I don't know. The Packers had the ball 5 minutes more than us. Now you look on the back end, the difference in time of possession. Well, how do you control the tempo of the game? Don't you have to convert on third down? Our offense has not been very good in any of our games on third down. Today we were 4 of 14, 29%. That's what our defense has been doing. But guess what? Not today. The Packers were 8 of 18, 44%. So we kind of flipped the script. And that's why they win the time possession and kind of set the tone towards the back end. So that was not good. We still can't run the damn ball. Please, Alvin Kamara, come back. I can't wait to see Alvin Kamara to be in the mix and how we're going to feature him, whether as a pass receiving running back or actually giving him rushing attempts, but averaging 3.5 yards a run. No, that has to be 4+. I'd say 4.2 or more if we're really getting it done. Now, again, it's not an exact science. It's not 100%. We're a +1 for the game. And we're +2 for the season. Now, keep doing that. because that's going to work to your benefit to win that turnover battle. But Steve, if you'd have told me we were going to be +1 before the game, if you'd have told me, Bobby, I'm telling you what, we're going to be +1
with a punt return.
With a punt return, there's no way in hell we lose. I said, there's no way. The reason why I say that, because Green Bay's been very opportunistic, especially at Lambeau Field. If you look at the last 4 seasons, when they forced at least 1 turnover and didn't get any, they were the #1 NFL team as far as winning games. They were 43-7. So that's what I said, man, we can't turn over the ball. We got to protect the football. But that was not the case. That's why if you'd have told me we don't have a turnover and we run back a punt, I'd have lost my house. I'd have lost everything. And I said, there's no way we're not going to win. Now, it started out good, which was not good, and I'm talking about penalties. Okay, you never want 9 penalties or more. You hear me say this all the time, or 100 yards. Well, you know what? It ended up being a push. What do you mean by push? Okay, you know why? Because the Packers had 11 penalties. That's not good football. That is not, maybe had flag-happy referees or whatever, but they had 11 penalties, 90 yards, but we had 7 for 102. So 102 yards versus 11 penalties. Usually, if you have a big advantage in that category, that's like a touchdown. Well, that's why it was a 1-point game, 18-17. So that was a push. So you cannot even acknowledge that or even take that into consideration. Now, Chris Olave, again, 11 targets, 8 catches, 104 yards. I mean, Derek Carr ended up having a quarterback rating of 104.5. He was 13 of 18 for 103 yards, and he got sacked 3 times. Okay, what are we going to give up 4 sacks every game?
That's the trend, unfortunately, right now.
That is terrible. Okay, just do 17 times 4 and where you're at. That's not a good offensive line. Sorry. You might say when a quarterback's holding on to the ball too long, even if you cut that in half. Okay, if you half of 68 is still too many. So that means the offensive line is getting whooped up front. And I thought Jameis Winston, he was very serviceable, 10 of 16. Quarterback rating, 80, whatever. Look, Jordan Love, I thought he hung in there. But what, was he a 50% passer? He's 22 of 44, quarterback rating of 66.5.
Killed us more with his legs.
Yes, and we said that you got to contain him. He averaged basically 4.5 yards a run. Now, I thought you didn't want to have him to have like 50 or 60 yards rushing. Well, he had basically 40, 39 yards. But again, it all goes back to when all of a sudden, like what it was in the back end, Steve. I want to say there was 3 straight punts, or I should say 4 straight punts. You have to do something. You can punt. I think maybe on those 4 drives, we got 1 first down. No, you got to finish the game. We had a 17-point lead in the 4th quarter. I mean, 12 minutes left.
And Bobby, the Packers rallied from a 17-point 4th quarter deficit to win for just the 2nd time ever in franchise history. That's from our Saints Radio Network statistician Brian Duvall.
So wait, is that from the 4th quarter, Steve?
Yeah, Packers rallied from 17 points down in the 4th quarter to win just the 2nd time ever in franchise history.
Well, because I was part of them rallying from a 17-point halftime deficit. Like I said, 24-7.
Right.
And they came back. And that was at Lambeau Field. But Steve, looking at, Headley, what do you think about punting? I don't know. He punts weird. And he doesn't, you have to look at the net punting average as far as yards, because that's really what you count. The net, not so much gross punt. Now, he punted 1 to the 5-yard line, but then the Packers we didn't hold him back there. That's when you need to force a 3 and out. So the jury's still out on Headley. Now, Groupie, I wish he'd have made that 45-yard kick, but it is what it is. I thought at times, like Alante Taylor, I wanted to give him a game ball.
Agreed.
He had 5 total tackles. He had a sack. He had a quarterback hurry. They were picking on him because Paulson Adebo not playing. He had 2 tackles for loss. He had 5 pass defended. That means they're throwing at him a lot. In one game, to have 5 passes defended, and also, you know who was second with pass defended? Because they're going after him too. It's all the chess match. Yadam. Yeah.
Isaac,
he had 4. So, that's who they were targeting. I thought, like even Lattimore at times, he had one pass defended, but they completed a couple of balls against Lattimore. I think he might be more motivated to go against Mike Evans, but he was second on the team with total tackles with 7. So when I look at all that, but
pass rush really not a factor.
No, pass rush. Alante Taylor was the only one that had a sack. None of our big guys like Cam Jordan, Carl Granderson, who had a chance to get a sack, and then that was a big run. That was a 20-something yard run by Jordan Love with Nathan Shepard.
Right.
God, man, they had the right stunt. You just got to make the tackle. Now, outstanding quarterback with his legs can make like a defender maybe miss, and that's what happened with Shepard. But a very disappointing loss, to say the least. Again, Steve, I guess that's why you shouldn't bet or what occurs. But if you did bet, depending on when you betted, I don't know, you took the Saints at 1.5, you still won. You know what I remember about these kind of games? This would be like when I remember playing the 49ers or different games. And again, the old story, I'm pumping gas at the gas station. And a fan would come up to me and said, "Oh, Bobby, man, I wish y'all would win. I wish y'all would have won. But at least y'all covered." and so they said, "Oh, no, I wish y'all would have won, but at least you covered." So this is one of these games that if you took the Saints in the points, you won. But it's an empty feeling from an organizational standpoint because you lost the game. You had a chance to be 3-0. And Charlie, what is it if you'd have been 3-0 to make the playoffs? Oh, 84%. I'm ready to almost have a parade. We're going to the postseason. Now, 2-1.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, still pretty good. But you got to fight it in your hands. A 2-for-1. You got Tampa Bay coming to town. And Baker Mayfield. Listen, Steve, I'm not an Eagles fan. Eagles, Eagles.
You love toying in
that. But I am tomorrow night. I am tomorrow night against Tampa Bay. We want the NFC South to be perceived as weak. Atlanta lost to Detroit. We lost. Whatever it takes to win the NFC South. And again, you got to sweep it under the rug or learn from your mistakes and evaluate the film, but then you got to flush it. And on to Tampa Bay, you got to take care of business. The only problem is, can Jameis Winston do it? He's going to have to do it against his old team. I think he will be motivated because I think Derek Carr. If it was his left shoulder, hell yeah, he's playing next week. But it's his right shoulder, throwing shoulder. You can take all the shots you want. You still can't throw the ball like you need to throw the ball in the NFL. I'm telling you, I've been there. Now, left shoulder, yeah, you can handle that. Give me a shot, then you handle the pain. But when it's your right shoulder, your throwing shoulder, Steve, I didn't start crying almost in August, but I was like, man, Steve, that ain't good for us. I'm telling you, right now, Derek Carr, because I think I watched the replay where his right shoulder, I said that ain't good. This might be, and again, I'm not a doctor. I don't know, a month, 4, 5, 6 weeks.
Oof.
I'll tell you, it could be.
It's a gut punch.
We need Jameis Winston to step up. Hell yeah, we need him to step up. Because it could be whether we're going to win or lose. Because I don't know. Now, I don't know how serious it is.
Right.
But even if it's serious, it's not like I don't think season-ending injury, but it could be like a 4, 5, 6 week ordeal with all the treatment and all that. Because you have to still be able to throw the ball at an NFL level. It's not like be a normal citizen. Oh, my shoulder's feeling pretty good. You just walk in everyday life. No, you're going to get hit on again, and you got to throw. So I don't know. I'm very discouraged when I've seen that injury.
Right now, we're going to pause 10 seconds to let stations identify themselves on the Community Coffee Saints Radio Network. The Who Dat Nation is lined up here on the Ciroc Point after the sound off. Want to hear from you, 504-260-1870. Get to you after the break right here on the Community Coffee Saints Radio Network.